Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together to BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. With me today is Mr. Tim,
Mr. Hello.
Mr. Cole Quit,
What?
and returning Joe. He comes, he goes. We're always happy when he's here.
How did I not get a mister? Everybody else got a mister, and I'm just Joe.
You're just Joe. All right, and I'm Jason. So this is a new series we are going to do called Album of the Decade. It might change its name based on the last video we did. We'll see. Or as Tim lovingly dubbed it, into the meat grinder. The first decade we're going to tackle is the 1990s. This series will take some time for us to get to the end, so hit that like and subscribe button so you can see how this all plays out. We'll be going from 1990 to 1999. This video is, of course, 1990. We've already done our video for the landscape of 1990. Go check that out. This will be our top 10 personal albums for the year. We'll take the top 3 of each person, and they will go into the grinder, and they will go into a giant bracket. The total number will be 120 albums that we will get through. We'll vote them out. It'll get nasty. It'll get ugly. Lines will be crossed. Friendships will be broken.
People will cry.
Alliances made and double
But we'll know
crossed.
what the best album of the decade is.
But by the end, you will know, and we will know, what the best album of the decade is. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at what our albums were that we all chose. In our
Good
orders. A lot of albums. So, they're just listed as release date, and we'll go one by one. Should be short. We'll knock them out. Not going to talk too long. I will start us off. Social Distortion. I love some Social Distortion. There's just something about Mike's voice that just, oof. It just hits every note for me. This is a landmark album. There's so many great tracks. You got So Far Away, Story of My Life, Ball and Chain, A Place in My Heart, freaking Ring of Fire cover. But it's not my favorite Social Distortion album, but it is a damn near perfect record. So
I feel the same way. Not my favorite, but it's for 1990. It's got to get mentioned for sure. I'm glad you have it there.
I'm going to go ahead and copy paste it over here. It's going to go, well, it's the first album I'm talking about, so it's in the first spot. Tim?
Done.
Your first album is Primus.
Yeah, I mean, what a great album, right? Technically a debut album of one of the most important alternative metal Americana bands of the last 30 years. Yeah, not my favorite Primus album, but anytime I go down the Primus hole, this is one that gets, once I get to it, I can't stop listening to it. It's a fantastic album.
Yeah, it's not my favorite Primus either.
I never listened to this album in around the 90s. I just did for our review, and what an album. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, they're a great band to begin with, and this is just classic stuff. So
we should cover Primus's discography and have Joe guest on it, because I'm guessing you haven't really listened to a lot of Primus.
No,
oh yeah.
If you like this one,
anytime you want to come down,
blown.
I will say it gets better than this one for sure.
that's exciting.
Yeah, no, they're a fantastic band. They're not for everyone.
They're not, which comes with my next record, which obviously isn't for everyone either. They Might Be Giants Flood.
You have been singing the praises of this band on this show for quite a while.
Look, if I could get you guys to review it, just like the first half of their career, because much like Rolling Stones or whatever, even though they started in the 80s, they've got so many damn records. Like it's kind of insulting to even expect anybody to devote the time to listen to all of them at all. But this record, my God, it is perfect from start to finish. It is wacky and heartfelt and whimsical and absurd and just all kinds of wonderful things all at the same time. My first time hearing this was actually in 91 after this record came out. In 90, because they did a Tiny Toons episode where the guys from Tiny Toon Adventures decided, like, we'll just make music videos for Istanbul and Triangle Man, and it's so good. And I remember seeing the videos for Don't Let's Start from the previous records on MTV and loving them, but never, like, being a little bit too young to actually go ask for a record. So when BMG came calling and Columbia House came calling, this was one of the tapes I got, and I fell in love with it so much. There's a good story about the guy from the Pixies, the lead singer guy, whose name I really should remember.
Francis.
Frank Black. How he had a car, and when this record came out, he had a tape player, and the tape player got stuck, and it wouldn't play anything other than this tape, and he fell in love with it. And I'm like, that's basically how this record wears on you, man. Like, you hear it once, you're like, pretty good. You hear it twice, you're like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then the more you hear it, the more you love it. It's just so good and wonderful and charming. And it's, it's great. It's wonderful. Listen to it.
I apologize for my old man pill alarm that went off in the middle of you speaking.
Oh, it's okay. I'm a teacher.
I will say when I made the sheet and I had to do the track list for it, the track list was like mildly interesting. So,
oh man, dude, the songs are so good. Like it's not my favorite They Might Be Giants record even, but it's up there for sure.
All right, Joe, yours was Primus as well.
Yeah, not a lot to say above what Tim said. It's the first time listening to it. I had another album that I was going to put where I put Primus, and I listened to that, and I was like, holy, this is good. This is some good stuff.
Oh, so Primus booted something else off your top 10.
Uh-huh.
Oh, interesting.
What was it? Just for
Sinead O'Connor.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put that. I'm not even a Primus fan, and I'd probably put this over that record. That had good couple songs. This one's pretty good.
Yeah.
In general.
All right, Tim. Up next is February 13th, Trouble, self-titled.
Wow, I have never heard this before. I've never even heard of it.
I haven't heard this one either.
This is a Rick Rubin production.
Okay.
So this is the second Trouble album. They're a Christian metal band out of Chicago that were really influential on like the whole doom scene.
Weird.
Yeah, and this is their major label debut. They signed with Deaf American. And this is part of that period where all of Rick Rubin's artists, he had Slayer, Danzig, Trouble, the Ghetto Boys, and Andrew Dice Clay.
That's crazy.
That's
really
weird.
I hope it's in your top 3, so I'm forced to listen to it. You know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is just a doom classic. It's the production, of course, is fantastic. It's Sabbath worship at its finest.
It's a very Sabbath-looking cover. I'll say that.
They're a real interesting band. You might remember Eric Wagner made an appearance on the Probot album. Super influential band on like just the grunge to come. Honestly, like this was one of the albums that like if you liked metal, you were into, and if you just liked like alternative rock, you were into. Or punk or whatever. Like this was one of those that kind of bridged, and yeah, in the end, really kind of created a genre. So yeah, very influential album. Not a whole lot of people know about it, but it is a Rick Rubin production, and I highly recommend it.
Word.
Yeah,
I learned something. I love this. This is awesome.
Where do you rank it? Is it above Primus?
You know, no, it's not. I do like the Primus more. But Trouble's in the top 10. So
You said it, friend.
yeah, definitely. I'm going to recommend all these albums. Obviously. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of unfair that we have to rank them, actually, but it's cool that we get to talk about them.
Wait till we get to 91. That's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
that's good. Yeah. And I've already got a ringer for 92. So
Yeah.
All right, Cole, quit.
My
Depeche
favorite part
Mode.
is doing the research and finding all the records that came out in the year, and you're like, wait, what?
Uh-huh.
Like Violator, for instance. Like, I was never a big Depeche Mode fan growing up, but as I got into my teen years and discovered industrial music and kind of the gothy kind of culture, this record was definitely an evident kind of thing you had to listen to. And it has grown on me as the years have grown as well. Like, I can't explain how good fucking Enjoy the Silence of Policy of Truth, Personal Jesus, World in My Eyes is just as singles are. And then they've got deep cuts like Halo and Clean and just it's just such a good record. Like, it's like and also part of the reason why I picked it for the top 10 is just because of how influential it's been on the culture in general as far as music goes. Like, there are so many records that have been influenced by this record. And it's fucking dope, man. I love it. It's really good.
yeah, it is a great album.
They might be giants. I don't know. I don't think so, but it's good. I love it.
I'll second it. It is a great album. It's I've never been a big Depeche Mode fan either, but that's just a solid listen.
Solid record. It's like, that's not my vibe most of the times, but if I want it, am I in that vibe? It's a perfect thing to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I've never heard this.
That's probably one of their best.
Oh man,
Honestly.
that's so good.
And you've heard at least half of it in commercials and movies and on the
I've
radio.
the whole record and not known it. Like, it's ubiquitous.
But you got to rank it.
Well, it's going to be number 2 for right now until
2.
we get further on.
All right.
It might stay there. I don't know. We'll see.
So far,
inquiring minds.
All right, Joe.
Hey.
All right, so Social Distortion, self-titled. I didn't realize that I basically knew this entire album. Like you're saying, Depeche Mode. So I don't know if I've ever sat down and said, all right, well, I'm going to listen to Social D's self-titled. But I know pretty much everything off this album. So apparently I have listened to it. It's amazing. A great album. Everything's good on it. I mean, I didn't find a bad song with it. I don't think. Let's see. No bad songs. So really enjoyed this album. Ring of Fire. So Far Away. It could have been me. Drug. I mean, they're all good.
Place in My Heart.
She's a knockout. Really, really good album. I know Jason spoke about it earlier, so I don't have a lot to add. So.
And I am just going to throw out there, it's not my favorite Social D album.
It's not my favorite either.
Word.
Well, whenever we get to rank
this is above Primus for me.
I think I'm not even a big Social D fan, but I will agree with you on that one.
But are you more of a anti-Primus fan?
No, I'm not an anti-Primus guy. I'm just not a Primus guy. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate what they do. It's just not for me. And it's okay.
It's because you play guitar.
No, it's just because I like music.
Well, okay.
Sorry.
Maybe that's
It's
why
hard
I
not
like
to
them
be,
so much,
like,
is
it's
because I
hard not
don't
to
like
be-
music.
It's hard not to be super like because I mean it's almost jazz, you know. It's just weirdness, and I appreciate it. It's just not for me. That's okay.
Well, I wrote my notes like as I was going to speak through all 10 albums together. So, but basically, if you cut back to me talking about that Social D record, it was a landmark record. Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. Speaking of a landmark album, this is
911 is a joke.
This is not only a landmark; it's also a very important record. Still to this day,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of long, but it's still some of Public Enemy's best. You got Brothers Gonna Work It Out, 911 is a Joke, Terror Dome, Burn Hollywood, Power, B-Side. Seriously, this is a must-hear album if you've never heard it.
Agreed.
I also love Ain't Got Nothing For You, Man. It's probably one of my favorite Flavor Flav songs. Flavor Flav got problems on his own. Ain't Got Nothing For You, Man.
Fight the Power.
This album is just... I didn't hear it in 1990, but when I did hear it, it was...
So maybe a hot take. And I love this album too, and I really love this this era of Public Enemy in particular. Like these first few Def Jam albums are just fantastic. Yeah. This, however, is not my favorite Public Enemy album.
Really?
Yeah. This is probably top 3. But
It Takes a Nation?
I mean, come on.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, that's fair.
And honestly, like Apocalypse 91, The Enemy Strikes Black.
They did some good shit in like the early 2000s too.
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
I think it was late 2000s. They did some good shit.
They've been doing good shit like the whole time, honestly.
But.
And a fun fact, I got to see Public Enemy live. And they had like a full band with them. It was one of the craziest shows I've ever seen. If you ever get a chance to see Public Enemy, I highly recommend it. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Slade was wearing the Viking helmet.
All right. Right on.
It's going to beat Social D. Would it beat my favorite Social D album? That's a totally different question that we'll get to around 1996. But
we'll get through from quite some time.
As of now, it beats self-titled Social D.
Word.
Excellent.
All right, Cole, quick. What is your third album you got to talk about? Is
yeah, we're starting afresh. Okay, got you. I'm confused.
Tribe Called
Quest, man.
This is another discography I'd like to get to eventually.
Yeah, this is that's the thing, man. I'm glad we got both of these records included because
another artist I've seen live.
Oh yeah, dude. I wish I would have seen them live. That would have been great. But I don't really get out much, I guess. But yeah, it's cool to have like Public Enemy and then this because they're like two completely different sides of the hip hop spectrum. Really, like this is definitely the beginning of like kind of like that. I don't know, alternative hip hop kind of vibe going on. That just kind of like, I don't know, probably hit its apex with Jay Dilla's Donuts, I think. But that's just me personally. I'm not that knowledgeable about hip hop in general. I just know that this feels very different from anything Public Enemy ever did. This is definitely more fun. It's less about a message. It's more about enjoying the vibe and the musicality of the rhythms and the flows and the lyrics themselves. It's just a really fun record, man. It's a really great hip hop record. I really enjoy it a whole lot. I Left My Wallet in El Segundo is like got the coolest little like sampling going on with the cool guitar riffs and stuff. Bonita Applebum is just adorable. Ham and Eggs makes me giggle every time I hear it. It's just, you can tell they're having so much fun making this record, and it's really fun. And it introduced me to Q-Tip. Q-Tip's the shit. Push It Along is awesome. Luckalution. This is just a great damn record. Footprints is awesome. Description of a Fool is a great song about how some dudes can't figure it out.
About kick it.
Yeah. It's just a great record, man. It's really enjoyable and sounds modern to this day. It still sounds fucking fresh. It's super good.
I think both Fear and this record sound fresh to this day.
Yeah, for real.
Like 1990 was an interesting year with hip hop because that's when it started to really cross.
You get the divide. You get the West Coast kind of gangster style, and then you get the more kind of cerebral East Coast style kind of starting up.
We'll get into that a couple years from now.
Yes, we will. Fuck you, P. Diddy.
But where does it rank for you? Is it better than Depeche Mode?
Yeah. I mean, but I think no, yeah, it's better than Depeche Mode.
It's better than Depeche?
Yeah.
Is it
yeah,
better
man.
than Giants?
No, not for me personally. No,
Well, this is your personal list.
no, I know, and that's why I said it. Not for me personally, because personally I like it better. Yeah.
Science and math, y'all.
All
Science
right,
and math.
what's this one?
Oh,
Which
Joe
one?
gets to talk about this too.
Yeah.
I feel like Joe just stole from us.
Well, the problem with 1990 and the albums there, after I kind of like went through and started combing through, I was like, well, these are the 10 best albums. And then I started looking at everybody else's list, and I was like, well, we've got, we have some similar taste here. We've got some different things coming up. I know I have at least a couple that.
Yeah, you got a couple that I had to look and figure out.
All right, so Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. I once again did not hear this in the 90s. My first listen through was when I was listening to these albums to try to pick the top 10. What an album, though. I wish I'd listened to it beforehand. Really, I think that obviously I knew some of the songs, as one does growing up, but never really had the whole album. And I've listened to this 2 or 3 times now just for fun. I just turned on to listen to it for fun. It's a blast. I love this album. So yeah, everything that Jason said, very influential, a lot of fun to listen to, and it does sound. I mean, you could have put it out last year, and I'd have been like, "Oh yeah, this is an updated album."
Public Enemy were ahead of their time. That is a discography I can recommend.
Oh
Yeah, we'll get to it, I think, at some point for sure.
Yeah.
You have to.
All 10 of my top 10s from this year, we will cover those discographies. So look forward to that. Social Distortion, Public Enemy. We'll get to all those.
Sweet.
I feel that way about some of mine, but I just know it's not going to happen at the same time.
So above Primus, below Social D.
Oh.
All right. We have our first argument.
First divide. Things won't get interesting, though, until we get to our 4th album. Cause,
I mean, yeah, unless
we'll
you
see
just like us a
what
lot.
stays in the grinder and what get pushed out. All right, my number... What's my next one?
Oh, yeah, there you go. I guess we all know where this is going.
I mean... I'm kind of a fan. I'm still a fan, It's Green Day. I'm not even going to hide my Green Day bias. I love this band. And I love 39 Smooth. You got At the Library, Disappearing Boys, 16, Road to Acceptance. The whole thing is top tier for me. This is where my rankings get fucked up, though. Personally, I like 39 Smooth more. But to say it's a better album than Fear of a Black Planet.
Well, I mean, look.
That just doesn't sit
How
right.
you feel, man. It's not what you think. It's how you feel.
But in the end,
And he feels like that'd be a stupid choice to make, and he'd be right.
at the end of the day, this is Green Day 1990. We got some Green Day coming up that I'm going to defend.
This is like classic Green Day. This is, arguably that first album bias high point of the career, right?
Go back and watch our rankings of Green Day. You'll know what's
but they
coming
can't.
But they can't because that's a private video that
That's
one
true.
will ever watch.
Sign up for the Patreon, then you get that 4-hour throwdown of Green Day that never will be released.
We put it on Patreon because we feel like you'll hate us if you watch it. So.
Yeah, Green Day fans.
And we're afraid to redo it.
Yeah, Green Day fans will get upset. Non-Green Day fans will get upset.
Hell, just people who enjoy their own time will get upset.
We got upset.
We got upset. Yes, we did. Oh my lord, tempers were flaring. You know what? It sounds like something
We're flying.
like a great thing.
That's right.
It's better than Social Distortion, but I can't say it's better than Fear of a Black Planet.
Well, I think that's a very sober view of things, actually.
If there was
I
a
don't know.
different Green Day album I was talking about, then yes. But
I mean, if it was Dookie, I might say there's an argument to be made.
I mean, Dookie's one of them. Yeah, there's quite a few Green Day records I'd put above it, but 39 Smooth is not one of them. So
Okay.
I think even Billy Joe would be upset if you were to.
yeah, I think Billy Joe would be like, "What the fuck, dude? Public Enemy's way better than we were."
Oh, jeez. My apologies.
All right, Tim, you got
Revolting Cox, my man.
Yeah, so speaking of industrial,
Yeah.
I love that late 80s, early 90s wax track sound, like Pretty Hate Machine. You got Mine is Terrible Thing Taste, etc. There's a lot of really interesting, creative stuff as they're birthing what we know as industrial music. And one of the highlights of the genre for me is the Revolting Cox cover of Olivia Newton-John's Let's Get Physical.
It's a winner.
If only for that song, you should listen to this album. But if you like Nine Inch Nails, if you like Ministry, if you like, MIDI music, check it out. It's a great album. It's a great album. It's a lot of fun. It's a total party record.
Is it better?
It doesn't take itself very seriously.
It's Al Jurgensen just having some fun, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Al Jurgensen, Bill Rieflin, Paul Barker. Like it's classic stuff. Chris Connolly's on there. Luke Van Acker. Like it's just it's a who's who of the people who invented noisy industrial music.
Yeah.
And this is them having fun. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you got Ogre on there. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to Ogre in a little while.
Yes. Okay.
Where would you rank it, though?
So compared to the two albums I'm ranking it against right now, it's going to go into third place.
Man, I really
Obviously, I'm going to like all these albums. I highly recommend them all. So once I'm starting to rank them, it's really just kind of based on personal taste. And personally, I get a little bit more out of that Trouble album.
Okay.
Huh?
But the Revco is definitely enjoyable.
It's much better than the Bad Co.
Ooh. It depends on the mood.
Wow. All right. Can't wait to
Yeah,
reach
that first Badco album is awesome, dude. That's like one of those flawless 70s albums.
I will take your word for it. I'll have to listen to it when you do the 70s for sure. I only know the singles in classic rock radio.
Oh, look at that. Joe gets to talk about 39
Jeez Louise.
So this is Green Day. It's hard not to put Green Day in a top 10 album when they come out, especially in this time of time frame. So, I'd be remiss if I didn't put it here, right? Listening through it's Green Day. This is great early Green Day. I will tell you that it's going to go.
Wait. This is going to kick shit out of the grinder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it will.
All right. What's it kicking out?
I'm kicking Primus out of there.
Ooh, no bye week for Primus.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and that's where Green Day's going to slot in there at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I like that Joe and Jason's are the same, just inverted.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
He's missing Primus, but
I love it.
Well, yeah, but you booted Primus out in our top three.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 buys right there apparently, so
Yeah.
that's gonna make it.
All right.
if they all make it up there to the grinder.
What's next for me?
Maybe something will kick it out.
Joe.
Dude, I want to say big ups on picking this because this is one of those bands I didn't listen to until recently because I thought they were a pop punk band. And then I found out they were
yeah.
much more than a pop punk band. They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they influenced a lot of pop punk. But
Yeah, it's true.
we'll this is again we'll cover this band's discography.
Yeah, I look forward to that. That'll be a good time.
This is not my favorite Jawbreaker record, but it has some of my favorite Jawbreaker songs. You got Want is a fucking top tier song. Lagwagon covered that shit. Imaginary War is great. Gutless. How Gutless came out the same year as the first Social Distortion record is crazy. It's not a perfect record though. It's got some duds like Drone. Not my favorite Jawbreaker. And it'll be another band that I'll be pushing for later in the decade. So, yeah, it's my number 4 at the time. It did not make the grinder.
No.
All right, Tim. What's next for you? Some weird shit. Oh no, it's my boy. Let's go.
Well, I mean, as much as I do love Fear of a Black Planet, that is a great album.
Yeah.
You can't slip on America's Most Wanted. This is probably, man, this is just one of those albums that, like, it, much like Fear of a Black Planet, holds up today lyrically, thematically, musically. I was cruising around YouTube not too long ago, and somebody went, "Wait, Ice Cube's a rapper?" and I kind of had to, like, you know, slap myself and go, "Oh, slow down," you know. Yeah, not only is he a rapper, he's one of the best ones to ever do it. And his debut album, America's Most Wanted, is an absolute must listen. Front to back, it's fantastic.
Yeah, this is...
And around this time, he also came out with an EP called Kill at Will. That might be even better. It's an EP. The songs are banging. This is fresh out of NWA, so he's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, fantastic stuff.
That's another discography we're gonna have to...
Oh yeah, man.
We gotta get some more hip hop on the channel.
Well, we got to start with the classics.
Whoa, show. Well, we got a lot to listen to, honestly.
Where are you putting it though?
As opposed to these other three albums,
Yep.
it's going to number 1.
All right. Let the chaos begin.
That's right.
Nothing lost to buy. Beers and steers pushed out of the bracket. Cole, quit. What you got?
I've got Fugazi's
Oh,
Repeater.
Jesus.
You know what, man? You know,
Woo!
that's my curse, man, because I picked 10 records that I can't live without, and I can only pick 3 of
I
them.
know.
And they all came out in 1 year.
I'm glad I don't have this one to choose, honestly. I'm glad.
Well, you know what? I think if we were doing, you know, earlier records, it would be a lot easier to say that there are better ones. Like, I love Repeater. It's one of my favorite Fugazi records. But I do love 2 of them better than this one.
Really?
I like 13 songs way better. And I love, actually, the last one. The Argument is so good. It's a
really? We got to do
it is a
Fugazi too.
perfect record, in my opinion. This record's really good.
Yeah.
And I love it very, very much. Like Greed, Blueprint, Repeater. Like, it's just start to finish, just like bam, bam, over your head, just solid rock, post-hardcore awesomeness. And
Fucking Kings, dude. 1990.
tonally, like, the production kind of bothers me a little bit. It's too one note all the way through, production-wise. And I know that's the Fugazi thing. They all kind of do that. But this one sounds really great. I don't know, man. I don't know where to put it. Like, this is really difficult for me.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't have to make this choice.
I gotta put it number 2 right now, man. I gotta put it number 2 right now.
Number 2?
Yeah, dude, it's way more influential than anything. Like, so many bands have aped that record throughout their entire fucking career.
More than Violator?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
probably.
I mean, this is where we hit that crux, man, because I don't know. I don't know where the fuck I should put that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
And
I love
that's why I'm just
Conquest
asking dumb
Party in the
questions.
middle.
But
That's right.
like,
Johnny Cash didn't cover a Fugazi song.
huh?
Johnny Cash didn't cover anything off Repeater, but he covered something off Violator.
Yeah. So
All right, number 5.
I love Johnny.
I'm just giving you shit. I'm sorry.
Look, man. No, look, dude.
You're not wrong. I love that album too. I'm just argue that it's
honestly,
more influential
I could
than
easily make the
Violator.
argument that Violator would be my number 1, even. Like, it's very arbitrary at this point, and I know none of these are going to make it to the top 4 anyway, so it's fine.
Perfect.
All right, up next for me is Sonic Youth's Goo.
Weren't we going to do them at some point, and we just didn't?
Yeah, they got booted.
I think they're on the list,
They got
right?
booted for the Rolling Stones.
Oh, we should have done Sonic Youth.
But we're going to come back. We will do Sonic Youth. I fucking love Sonic Youth. Goo is easily my number 1 spot so far, and Goo isn't even a top 3 Sonic Youth album for me. But I know that's a hot take for another day. Goo has Dirty Boots, Tunic, Mary Christ, Cool Thing, banger after fucking banger, It Never Lets Up, My Friend Goo, Cinderella's Big Score, the epic fucking Lee Ronaldo on Moat. This album is so damn good. This is one of Sonic Youth's most accessible albums, and one I would recommend to people who want to, like, are interested about Sonic Youth. I usually point them to Goo first. But I mean, I got a 4-disc like Goo vinyl. I love this record. It's easily my number 1 currently.
Oh, shit.
Which means
Social D does, or
Yep.
yeah, Social D no longer gets a bye.
Yep.
Well,
Social
good
D
riddance,
is
Social.
no
Good
good.
riddance, Mike Ness.
Hey, now Mike Ness and Sonic Youth, the Whitey album.
I never understood the love for Social Distortion, so I'm biased, I guess. But yeah,
I understand the not understanding it.
yeah, not here.
And it's hard to explain the understanding it.
Yeah,
but there's just something about it. Maybe it just has to hit you right at the right time.
Maybe so. When we review them, maybe it'll be then. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, can't wait.
All right, Tim.
What's next?
Yo!
Poison Ideal. Feel the
That's
darkness.
a big one.
So, yeah, as I mentioned in our landscape video, 1990 was a pretty big year for me. I started off just kind of a pop glam kid and ended being introduced to punk and thrash. And one of the things I love about 1990 is just how potent the underground was. Like, we've already talked about Jawbreaker, we've talked about Green Day, we've talked about Fugazi, and now we're going to talk about another classic punk rock band, Portland's own Poison Idea. This is one of the best hardcore albums ever recorded, just bar none. Personal favorites, just off the top of my head, I love the title track, Feel the Darkness is incredible. It's also got the badge, it's got Allen's on Fire, it's got a Nation of Finks. Like this, you want some great before grunge ruined punk, give this album a spin.
Yeah, Poison Idea, like when people talk about like regional hardcore, Poison Idea is Pacific Northwestern hardcore. Like that's
And I got to see them live like when I first moved to the Pacific Northwest in a place maybe about the size of my living room. Somebody went through a glass window. It was just pure pandemonium. It was one of the best nights of my life. They were fantastic. Great band. Highly recommend it. This might be their best album. That's a tough one to quantify too, because they also have Pick Your King. We'll say arguably is in contention for their best album. And yeah, if you like the punk, which we do on this channel,
Yep.
recommend.
All right, so where does it sit in your rankings?
Well, against those 4 albums, it's going to number 1.
Oh, Trouble's not going to be in the meat grinder. Colquitt, you won't get to listen to him ever.
No, I'm still going to listen to him. Because, I mean, there's just something to be said for a Christian doom metal band. You know what I mean? Like,
They're pretty good. They're a really good band.
I hate most Christian rock, but the older stuff is a little bit better than
and it's it's not like overt.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. Yeah,
They're really just more of a positive doom band, if that makes sense.
You listen to early Under Oath and their like kind of black metal stuff, and you're like, yeah, this isn't a Christian band. And then you watch them live, and they try to save your brother and then ruin your relationship with him. You know, it's just one of those.
So, would you say Creed, who came after them, just next in line?
No, because Creed is terrible. I would say Under Oath makes good music, even if I hate them.
All right,
1,000 songs.
As you can see, we like talking about music. All right, so our New Year's resolution is to make videos not quite as long, so we're going to cut it here and make a part 2. Stick around. Green Day's hanging on by a thread here at number 3. It might get booted out. Who knows? Primus, it lost its spot. It's hanging on by a thread. It lost its spot,
but it's still in the grinder.
It's still in the grinder. We'll see. Public Enemy so far has a bye. Green Day still has a bye. Good shit. Stick around for part 2. Be safe. Make good decisions.
Always make decisions.
We'll see you in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.